Now, you may see a little clip here. We had to restart. Yeah. So anyway, after the rim trail, they did the work be at the rim trail.
They did the work be at the rim trail.
Yeah. They had a regatta up at Bear Valley, up at Lake Alpine.
Yes, they did.
And it was busy.
And it is busy from here until Labor Day.
On out. And it was a happy thing. Now we're moving on to, I guess this morning, a little bit of a fire news.
That's right.
There was a fire in Arnold this morning. Mm-hmm. We woke up this morning and there was a fire rolling over in the off Manual Road, which is basically for White Pines Lake. Mm-hmm. You go straight on back out behind there, probably several miles down over the top of the ridge and then down into the valley. And so that's where it was. And it was a fairly small fire, but you could tell there was little people. And this is kind of goes to where
people get nervous.
Yeah, and
especially since we've had a lot of little fires already, and fire season is a month ahead of where it typically is.
And I guess the other interesting thing is this is why, we wouldn't claim to be really hard-hitting journalists here on Pine Tree, especially me. But anyway,
I make no claims.
Yes, but anyway, we're from talking to different fire personnel, CDF personnel, Ebbets Pat, EPFD personnel, things like that. You try to get a picture of where the feel of things are.
Yes.
And one of the things I got was a little, not disturbing, but a little bit of the truth that kind of nobody said is because they had moved some of the air assets from here up to Tahoe.
Yes.
And they're claiming that they're still, wouldn't have affected coverage and they would be fine, which makes sense, but I noticed there was no tankers called on this one. There was no air support, and some people may have said that the question. This may be valid.
They may not have needed.
But also they may not have thought that it was a rural fire and not remote and not needed. But I guess it
just bothered you.
It is the curmudgeon a little bit. That just rang a little hollow.
But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a big fire.
No, it wasn't. It never got over 2 acres.
And even those, those pilots are amazing.
They are.
They are just right on top of it. It's still a small fire. Is my understanding is best fought on the ground.
On the ground. Okay.
And it wasn't traveling quickly.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't moving quickly. But you could tell there were people who were a little because there's plenty of fuel out there. And also the thing is that there was just one ridge between there and Arnold on the back side. So it's one of those things that.
But there's no wind today.
I know.
It was. If you're going to have
you still get nervous, like with what's happening in Tahoe.
Oh yeah.
And it's
in LA.
In LA, it's just.
It looks like it's going to be one of those seasons where the whole state is on fire at the same time again.
Yeah,
and you heard it here first.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we worked that for the first couple hours this morning.
Yes.
We went out there.
But they contained it very quickly.
Yes. And it ended up being 6 engines, 3 hand crews, couple fire captains, and a couple water tenders and things were the assets that had responded to it.
Yes.
And they jumped on it early, and it was fairly cool this morning as well. But anyway, they dodged another bullet, and I'm glad they did.
Yes, that's true. You don't want it getting out of control at an early stage because then you're just running to keep up with it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And if it is just one ridge away from a populated area, it's not a good thing.
I mean, all you need is a good stiff breeze, and here she comes.
Yeah. Fire is very unpredictable. And,
see, I would have I guess on this one, probably the air tankers weren't needed. They probably didn't need to be called out. But they just give me the warm fuzzies.
They make
it's like, okay, they're going to get go bomb that sucker. But it's...
it's always fun when they fly up behind your house, too. I've had that happen a few times.
Probably on that ridge, come right up over Forest Meadows. Yeah.
Yes, because sometimes they dip out of the pond in Forest Meadows.
Right.
It's like, are they coming in? When you can see the pilot's hair color, there's a problem,
Would you like some tea?
Exactly. Probably coffee, I'm sure. But, anyway, on to Board of Supervisors.
Yes.
It's an interesting agenda tomorrow, actually. There is a smattering of everything. on the agenda. The consent agenda is huge, and one of the consent agenda items is the board chair authorizing a letter to Governor Schwarzenegger.
That's right.
To keep the Williamson Act in the proposed budget.
Just tell Arnold no. Huh?
Yes, try. Because as we talked about actually a couple weeks ago, his proposed budget is removing the Williamson Act entirely.
Right.
It's eliminating it.
Which will have a disproportionate effect on rural counties.
Yes, right? Yes, right. It affects rural counties, but not urban counties, because obviously most Williamson Act holdings are in rural counties. Absolutely. So it would definitely change the tax structures.
Yeah.
In the rural counties, which is not always a good thing, because it helps keep rural counties rural, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Another thing that's happening, which you may or may not have heard about, is that, and this is on consent agenda too, the on-site sewage employees, which are currently employed under the Community Development Department umbrella, are moving into environmental health.
Right.
They are taking that whole unit of county employees who have not only been doing on-site sewage, but also helping quite handily in the building department, processing building permits,
right,
and counter help, and doing those sorts of activities. They're taking those employees and they're moving them as a unit into environmental health.
Interesting.
So that will be interesting to see how that affects the building department, because it's my understanding that there are 4 or 5 employees making the move, and building department is backed up enough.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that. How it affects building. Yeah. Sure.
The septic was
backed up. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. So possibly it could. Actually, it will affect the counter.
Yeah,
the
building department. And I guess this is in some ways almost a sad note in some ways, because there's been a lot of talk this last week over Board of Supervisors meeting from last week, and this was the first time, I guess, during this board's reign that there has been, Supervisor Treon and Supervisor Callaway. They always go at, in some ways jokingly. Chide each other on issues and things like that. It was just a lot of fun.
They are on opposite ends of the political spectrum, and that is how it is.
In some ways, it's kind of a fun political fight. Adds a little levity to the meetings, But
these are not fun political fights.
This was
anymore.
not. No, this was probably the first time there was really an open, ugly breach. In the board. And
it wasn't between Supervisor Tryon and Supervisor Callaway.
No, it was basically with Supervisor Tryon and everybody else.
On the board.
And he probably didn't see it this way. And I guess there's a lot of, this is one of the things where the papers have written about it, and we've had comments about it because we on the rebroadcast of the supervisors meeting that we carry. And it's it'll be interesting to see how the next few weeks
plays out.
And
but he was just giving his opinion.
He was.
I mean, as a supervisor, as an elected official, maybe votes don't go your way, and there's a faction of thought that says you should just move on, and what's the bygones, let the bygones be bygone. And there's another faction of thought that if you're seeing the boat continually going in a direction that you don't think it should go in, then you need to speak up. So that's primarily what he was doing, was my understanding.
And I don't know if anybody knows how that's going to play out yet.
No,
and it's one of the things where there's a lot of people who are very upset by what he said. And
but there are a lot
there's
of people
also
who
a lot of
support
people that were basically cheering that point of view. And I think it will be, and I guess I was just trying to look at the big picture for the county, and one of the things is, and because we have, and this is not a hard-edged journalism angle to it, but also for the Pine Tree, we take seriously we need to get results for advertisers. And a lot of our advertisers, or we don't have a reason to exist, or the revenue to exist. And a lot of our advertisers are in the real estate community. And the real estate community this last year has, overall, it's down. it's and some of this is just overall trends.
It's down everywhere. So,
but all politics is local.
Politics is local.
Politics is local, and it's
interesting.
interesting.
Politics is local, but we are definitely affected by what goes on in the state level and the federal level.
Yeah,
and you can't lay it all at the feet of the local politicians.
I guess I need to finish my little rant before people think I'm like, that John guy. No, but what we wanted is that. The interesting thing is we were actually very happy. The septic issue was behind us, and it looks like after the legal access debate last week that they will come back and something will get resolved on that. So the language on the legal access issues will get cleaned up. So in essence, it is getting things tidied up so it's business as usual if you're trying to get something accomplished in the county. Not business as usual, but at least where things can start rolling again, which in some ways this is a small county, and if there's a segment of our economic sector that is not doing well, it affects a lot of things.
I know that.
Okay.
And I think our viewers know that as well and are absolutely cognizant of that. On the other hand, these should be blips in the road and not hold up the building permit process as far as the access issues, the septic issues, and my little rant last week about the minute order.
Right.
These things should not be brought up on minute order. They're coming down the pipeline.
Right.
And you should follow the process as a department. And I would say that about any county department.
Yeah.
So if the building permits if they're being held up, which apparently they are, quite frankly, then obviously there's some issues there that need to be taken care of beyond legal access and beyond septic.
Yeah.
So, and yes, it does. It affects the economic viability, but then you have to think too. Calaveras County is a beautiful county.
The fundamentals, it'll definitely no, it will. But I guess
this
in
is
some
just a
ways,
blip in the road.
There's been such angst over the last 6 or 8 months on building planning and everything else.
Yes.
It looks like some progress is getting made to smooth things out.
It's hard to combine two individual entities under an agency umbrella. It has been done many times throughout the state, and these agencies do function effectively once they get going. But there's a lot of bumps in the road with Calaveras County right now, and it just needs to be smoothed out and taken care of.
Well, maybe it was just wishful thinking. I just thought a little peace and quiet would be good. Peace and quiet.
And what would we talk about?
Everybody gets back to work.
Talk about?
We talk about passport weekend and camping and big trees, and that's what we talk about.
And there are a couple other things actually on Board of Supervisors.
That's true.
Besides the whole on-site septic unit is actually moving to environmental health. They are actually looking at accepting the proposed budget.
Right.
Passing the proposed budget, which is a little less than...
but there may not be a hiring freeze, right? So they could...
Well, they're saying they're going to discuss the hiring freeze as well. So there may or may not be a hiring freeze, depending on the discussion. So we will have the updates on that for you tomorrow.
Good.
Yes.
All right. So that's kind of the big stuff, isn't it?
That's the big stuff.
That's the big stuff.
Yes.
Also tomorrow is they're having a very nice picnic for the luncheon for the Master Gardeners. Master Gardeners luncheon.
Now, if you've never gone out to see the Master Gardeners demonstration garden out there at the San Andreas in the Government Center, I highly recommend it. It is beautifully done.
Yeah,
they've done a great job with it, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. Also, I guess one last couple little things is this is huge. This is the biggest item. Is Comcast has opened a new office in Arnold.
Yes.
That is just kidding. It's not the biggest, but also if you need to drop payments for Comcast off, there is an office now between Arnold and Avery, so you don't have to make that trek over to Valley Springs if you want to drop something off. But the other interesting thing I thought, and this is kind of from a tech side, right? I mean, because they were running about 50 plus service calls up in the Ebbets Pass corridor area a day.
Yes,
and there's quite a few of the service personnel live here.
Yes.
So they were actually having to drive all the way to Valley Springs, get their trucks, and come all the way back, and then take the trucks all the way back down to Valley Springs. Now they will no longer have to. So what they anticipate is with the same staffing, they will get quite a few more calls made, actual service work done in the area. So if you're looking, so you should be increased, now if you have a Comcast appointment, they should be there on the minute. Just kidding. But, right?
Or at least close enough. Although I must say, in all my negative experiences with AT&T, SBC AT&T, a few weeks ago, I had trouble with my AT&T /SBC line.
Yes.
I called up their call service center.
Yeah.
They had somebody out there in an hour.
Wow.
I was like,
wow.
I was stunned.
That is amazing.
I was stunned. And he did his job and did a good job, and
That's
that was
amazing.
it. Yes. I was very surprised by that.
And I guess, I guess this is kind of the ping pong thing around a little bit, but for the homes up there in Tahoe, it's just our heart goes out because it looks like
at least
220 houses burned so far, and that's what was made a little bit twitchy this morning. Is you see something that on the downside of the ridge, if there was
there's a wind, it could push it right up over the ridge.
Yeah,
right up over the bridge. But so we'll see how that ends up going.
And on really heavy, hard-hitting news, it looks like Germany has banned filming of a cruise film because of Scientology.
Really?
Tom Cruise film.
Scientology, the only religion invented by sci-fi writers.
I don't know. And Rosie says it. And Rosie says that she's.
I do.
Rosie says that she's not going to take Bob Barker's job.
Really? Really?
Well, anyway. Oh, and also doesn't.
I have no comment on that.
Doesn't Paris Hilton get out tomorrow, or did she get out today?
It's either today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Actually.
Paris Hilton will be free.
The neighbors are a little sketchy about it simply because they don't want the media attention, apparently.
Oh.
Her neighbors.
Her neighbors?
Her neighbors down there. The land of milk and honey. Or so they tell us.
Yes.
We actually think this is the land of milk and honey.
We better go to the weather.
Weather. You've got weather.
Let's do it.
Weather.
Arnold. Low of 58. High of 81 tomorrow. Low of 60 Tuesday night and a high of 78 on Wednesday. Low of 58 on just perfect weather and a high of 79 on Thursday. Just great temperate, don't you think? No?
Yes, actually. The weather is getting a little milder, actually.
Yeah.
In Murphy's, tonight there's a low of 59. And Tuesday, high of 89 degrees. Wednesday, 86. And Thursday, 83. So it's a nice little downtrend.
Yeah. So Bear Valley, I'll do the Bear Valley weather because Sarah's not really a big fan of the great outdoors.
Boy, there's an understatement.
Low of 50, high of 73, low of 52. High of 70 on Wednesday and a high of 71 on Thursday for Bear Valley.
Okay, and Angels Camp weather. Tonight, a low of 59 degrees, and Tuesday, sunny with a high of 90, Wednesday, a high of 87, and Thursday, a high of 82 degrees.
And here we go. Oops.
Bangor, Maine. We get a lot of Australians watching.
We do. We get quite a few Australians.
We get a lot of Australians.
Yeah. Should we do the weather for Perth or something like that?
That would be good, yeah.
So, anyway.
Now,
the high of
Bangor,
7.
Maine tonight.
Now, it looks like Bangor, Maine.
Ooh, look at all those thunder clouds. Hey!
Thunder clouds. So, you've got thunder and lightning in Bangor. High of 79, low of 59. Ooh, I don't want to be in Bangor, Maine tomorrow. I'm sorry. High of 91 degrees, but looks like about 100% humidity.
And thunder.
High of 87.
Lightning.
I'm sorry. Yeah, normally
Yes.
we we want to be there.
Not today. No, not tomorrow. No. You can take it tomorrow. Maybe on Wednesday. Maybe we'll go visit Wednesday.
91 degrees, lightning and rain.
Oh,
it's going to be a bit mucky, I think. It will be. Oh, sorry to pick on you, Bangor, Maine. Yeah, anyway.
We're going to stay here.
See, if we do that, they won't watch anymore.
They may.
They may?
They may.
Yeah,
we're still waiting for our lobster.
That's right. We haven't got any lobster in the mail yet. But anyway. Now they'll just send a claw.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like the horse head.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Now they'll just send us a severed claw.
Yes.
Well, we really appreciate you stopping by. We do. And we hope to see you back again tomorrow on the celebrated nightly news
of Calaveras
County, where tomorrow we will we'll have play-by-play action of the Board of Soups tomorrow. Yes, because with it should be interesting. The next few weeks, this will be local politics at its juiciest, probably.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true. It'll be interesting to watch. Politics is always interesting to watch.
It is. Yeah, this will be interesting. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.